Our guest today at the top of the hour is the YWCA in Southern California. And, like all of us, what happens when schools get shut down? What happens to summer programs? What happens when we normally were able to sit around a table and do a project together? Well, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. So we're putting our heads together. As you know, we're now launching a balloon every week. We've taken a little break from launching them up here in Northern California, and we brought a ham radio expert, Liam Kennedy, down in Monrovia, who's going to help some young women here, and they're going to share their knowledge. I think they're pretty fast learners. We just introduced this to them just in the middle of the week here. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Janelle. Since you're joining us, Janelle joined us a couple episodes ago, a JPL engineer doing some really cool stuff, but she's also a board member of YWCA. So Janelle, I want to turn it over to you and maybe give us an intro. I see Jomi's on as well, and it looks like some of our students are here in addition to that. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a basic intro. We'll kind of make it up as we go along, but at a certain point, maybe half past the hour or 20 till, Liam, I know, is going to get in a car and drive off to actually get this thing underway. So the floor is yours, Janelle. Hello and good to see you.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your Friday meeting Zoom call. Ted, Tony, Liam, so we're so thankful for this collaboration that has been born out of this pandemic, because at the YWCA, our main service is to providing girls in our community with the inspiration and tools they need to feel empowered to have a STEM career in their future. And so when we switched over to this pandemic mode and we couldn't meet with our girls in person after school, the question became, how can we continue our programming and still make a meaningful impact and deliver our mission? And that's when I got talking with you guys. And this great idea was born of having a virtual balloon launch that symbolically could bring us all together during these hard times. And so with that in mind, we decided to have the girls kind of run the show here, because they're the ones who are learning and growing from this experience. And so I'm not going to be giving anyone a presentation today. The girls are going to be taking over and showing you what the plan is, what they've been working on, what they learned, and also letting you all, the audience, ask them any questions about this experience for them and give them a chance to talk to you about that. And they're also going to be calling the shots on this live balloon launch. So that will be the exciting finale. But of course, it won't end there either, because we have to track this thing and see where it goes. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce our student co-leaders, Simran and Karina, who I hope both of them have joined the chat already, the call already. Girls, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'll hand it over to you all.
Hello, my name is Simran. I'm in 10th grade and I go to Crescenta Valley High School.
Karina, and I'm 10 years old and I go to Robert Hill Lane Elementary School and I love STEM.
This is the balloon launch project.
Powered by the YWCA, Magnitude, and ISS Above. So the balloon that we'll be launching at about maybe 11:30, 12 is made out of Mylar, about a meter in diameter, I was told, and it will reach the altitude of 24 to 30,000 feet, 7,300 to 9,200 meters. Its direction of travel will be affected by the weather and the wind patterns. The balloon could also be affected by its other surroundings too. And this is a picture Janelle showed us as an example of the probably material of the balloon.
So we will be attaching this Pico hub to the sky tracker to our Pico hub, and it transmits our position to the amateur radio tracking system every few minutes. So we'll know exactly where this balloon will end up. This link will help us track where our balloon is, and also it uses solar panel, so we can't track this balloon in the nighttime when there's no sunlight.
So the weather today is going to be about 73 degrees Fahrenheit, and we put a picture of the predictions basically we got from weather.com about of what the weather is going to be like, and just to also show how how the direction will change probably even with the weather patterns because the weather is always changing. And the launch location will be the balloon will be launched at the Santa Anita Mall, and it will be the coordinates are 34.1372. I believe that stands for north, and 118.521. I believe that's west, about from latitude and longitude.
So the weather patterns do affect where our balloon will end up, as Karina already mentioned. So these are so we use this to predict like where our balloon would approximately end up after 7 days.
And so Simran, I had a question about that. This is, can you talk a little bit more about what you were just showing?
This?
Yeah, so you have, there's different layers of the atmosphere, right?
Yes, so the balloon will be at 250 HPA, so which is different from ground level weather patterns. So being higher in the air will affect how fast and how much it moves.
Because the higher you are closer to the higher you are, the pressure is not going to be as much as where you're lower. There's more pressure.
Great, thank you.
So these are the predicted paths of our pico-have. This was predicted on May 29th. And we did another prediction this morning, and it changed so much.
Yeah.
It changes very significantly. And this was made today. The prediction was at 10:19 a.m. And this shows you just how much weather changes in just a few days. So that's also another thing saying to the weather patterns that the weather and the temperatures probably will also affect it. So that's probably most likely not the exact course because of it just changes in a few days. Just imagine how much it would change in 1 week.
And when we look at that graph, can you describe what that red line? I see some triangles on that. Do you know what those?
Oh, the triangles, the big triangles are per day, and the small triangles are the predicted location in every 6 hours. So,
where does that look like it's ending up in a week? It's going to be, where is that?
I can
close to Portugal.
You're heading right to the Mediterranean, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Great predictions.
And here's the link also if you want to just go to it, you could just click on the link and you can go to the link.
Now that link is kind of complicated, isn't it, Karina? It's got a bunch of calculations on it. You guys went through that?
Yeah, we went through it. So these are the coordinates of our launching location. And
I think it's supposed to be the eye thingy. Is it? Something like that, sorry.
And so there are a lot of variables that you can, and I see. And your source is NOAA. Do you guys know what that stands for?
Let me think.
Pop quiz.
I remember.
it's about the same prediction right now. We just did it an hour ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah, NOAA is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. So they're studying the ocean and the atmosphere. And if you think about planetary scientists, I don't know if C's on with us, but C works with us, and she graduated from UC Berkeley as a planetary scientist. And there's a lot of folks that are interested in exoplanets, planets beyond Earth, in different solar systems and different galaxies. But we got a really special planet we can observe right here. So if you're interested in astronomy and planetary science,
I did when I was in third grade. I definitely did a solar system project.
Fantastic.
I was into astronomy and kind of I still like astronomy, but like STEM better a little.
Good.
Yeah, this is the end of our presentation. So.
Well, fantastic. I'd like to open it up here to our guests in Zoom, and I'm going to check YouTube, but I'm sure you have some questions for our young scientists here and our young engineers.
I have a question. What is the difference between the balloon you send or you're sending and the balloons that we commercially buy in the dollar store or something like that?
Well, probably the difference is that it's probably going to be a bigger balloon, or maybe the material. I'm not exactly sure. We haven't exactly seen the exact model of what it's going to be, or just a replica. But probably the difference is it's probably going to also have more helium, which will cause it to go higher, and then also it will probably have differences or different attributes, because a bit's going to go all around. Your normal balloon would probably just go up, 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 and doesn't have as much movement probably, and just pops easier.
I like that hypothesis.
Yeah.
I guess,
of course, as I'm speaking, you can see your balloon is on my ceiling right now.
Yeah, girls, there's with Liam's shot there. I mean, why is your balloon kind of deflated? It's not like nice and puffy like we usually see.
do you have an answer for that? Or it's kind of a little bit of we need usually a little bit more time to kind of dive into these investigations, but your clue to your answer is back to what you were talking about, pressure and how pressure changes in the atmosphere. So we've got a certain amount of gas, helium gas, inside that Mylar balloon here on Earth, and there's higher pressure here on Earth, right? And as that balloon goes up, you told me, Karina, that we're going to get less pressure, right?
Yes.
So what's going to happen to that volume of gas inside that balloon when we have less pressure on the outside?
It's probably going to grow bigger.
Yeah, exactly right. And so I guess we really,
not so close together.
Exactly. And so if we pump it up full of helium here on the Earth, it's going to probably go up faster. But what might happen? You ever fill up a cup with too much of a liquid? It's going to start spilling over. Your balloon might burst, right? Because it's going to have too much pressure, and there's not enough pressure on the outside to hold the balloon together. And so I think our answer has something to do with that pressure.
So the buoyancy has to be really carefully calculated then. You can't just randomly throw some helium in there.
Oh my goodness. Is that a good prelude for our introduction video, Liam?
Yeah, sure. Our 2-hour journey last night.
Well, I've got it down to an hour, 1 minute and 44 seconds. If
That's right. Thank goodness. You don't have to be with us for 2 hours.
It's only just, well, why was that? It's interesting. It shouldn't take that long, but we were both learning together and trying to do it remotely. So,
yeah, I was like the remote hands of a remote operated robot.
little telesurgery going on there.
The operator was in Berkeley, and I was down, imperfectly following instructions.
Oh, well, and I think what it was is the person giving instructions just was kind of lame. I was giving you the best instruction. The thing,
so Liam, you can no longer check the checkbox on CAPTCHA. You are a robot now.
Yeah, I am definitely a robot.
Oh, there you go. Right, so let me share my screen.
I'm going to bump over to YouTube with my students, so we'll hopefully be able to watch this launch. Have a good luck with it, and catch you all on the other side.
Have a good class, Michael. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So here's Liam with a summary and a good overview of what it takes. And normally, we're working with you guys directly. You guys get to do this. And on our bigger balloons, you actually even contact the Federal Aviation Administration to file a notice to airmen because those big balloons kind of get in the way of stuff. This little balloon we don't have to worry about. But I think we're doing the best job we can, considering that we've never really met in person. This is pretty cool. And so I really have to thank Janelle and Jomi and Cynthia for their leadership at YWCA and giving you guys this amazing opportunity. Really excited about this. And I will share that this is a prelude because we have some other teachers in the Central Valley in Northern California that will be doing this every week. And we're leading up to a balloon that's going to circumnavigate the planet. Different type of balloon. It's going to be a great mission. It's going to happen probably within the next month. So definitely stay tuned. But here's Liam giving us a nice summary after a couple hours of work of what it takes to put this together.
So the recap is it's done. The balloon is assembled, inflated, configured to exactly what it needs in order to, when we release it tomorrow, to launch up into the sky over the Santa Anita Mall and heading east towards the San Gabriel Mountains. It really is, just a matter of follow the instructions, work out all of the weights that need to simulate the weight of the sky tracker as you're filling in the helium. I can't tell you how many times we filled it up, got it so that it was looking like it was the right lift, and then it was a little bit too much, so I hugged it a little bit, and then got it at the right level. And just so as you know, yeah, we sealed everything up, did it again, and it wasn't quite the right lift. So we had to backtrack and disassemble some of the tape that we put around, and then put a little bit more helium in. And we think that was due to the weight of this Starbucks straw in comparison to the official white straw that is supposed to come with the kit, but just didn't anyway. But the end result is it's all safely there. It looks like it's well connected, and it should be, very well set up for the final launch tomorrow and for a safe ride across the United States.
Now you can see I ran that model last night, and that's different than the model you just shared this morning. Mine also had 3 different colors on it because I was unsure of the altitude. And when you go back and do your calculations, if you want to, again, ladies, what you can do is you can actually put in different heights to see what might happen if the balloon's a lower altitude. Is it going to go a different place? And it's going to do it a little bit. And as it goes farther, several days into the future, you're going to see there's even a greater disparity in terms of altitude change and what have you. So that was kind of neat. But Liam, thank you for your patience of going through that. And something that Liam and I didn't think about, it's like, oh, we need to infill this thing, but this is the normal straw or filling a pipe that Bill Brown that makes the Sky Tractor provides, but I didn't have one to send Liam when I sent him one back then when he received it. And so he just grabbed another straw, but there is a difference in weight. This thing's about twice as long as that straw. It's a much thicker material, and we didn't calculate it. It's like maybe a half a gram. And so at the very end of that video, you could see Liam attached a nickel to his balloon. A nickel weighs about 5 grams. And after we did our calculations, 5 grams would make that balloon sink to the ground. Just that little bit of weight, just the weight of a nickel makes that balloon go down. But if we added a penny to it, Liam added a penny, it was supposed to go up because a penny weighs about half that amount, about 2.5 grams. So really nice, convenient weight system there just by using some coins. So, but we attached the penny to it, and Liam, that thing started going down. And we were like, oh, first of all, he had it all wrapped up and it was all ready to go. And it's like, we did all the math, it should work. But we didn't think that he had a different straw with a different weight. Something so subtle as that made the balloon fall down, so drop down. So we fixed that, and it looks like it's doing everything it's supposed to do now. So that was kind of an adventure, to say the least. It took twice as long as it probably should have because of that.
Oh, it was a fun time though. No regrets here. So I'm thinking I should probably get in my car with this balloon and sort of drive over to the Santa Anita Mall.
There you go. Now it's about a 5-minute drive for you. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 12 minutes according to Waze. So yeah, so I'll go, and I'll get onto the Zoom, when I'm on my way over there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
So,
drive safe and pop in. We'll be chatting about different things and keeping everyone entertained and informed, and probably having some curious questions come up too. So
very cool. And I definitely want to say to all the students, you did a fantastic presentation there. I'm so proud of what you took on and how you presented the whole sort of aspect of what's going on here. So you did a great job, and I can't wait to launch this on your behalf in just a few minutes. So that'll be very good. And Karina, we must make sure that I get my astronomy crowd here to come to your school. That's my specialty too. So very good.
About the material of the balloon exactly. So like you said, that if it has too much helium as it goes up, it will pop. Well, what if it's going over the ocean? Will this hurt the animals? Because we also got to take other factors into consideration. Even though it's our experience, we also don't want to hurt the animals, and not being able to pick up trash right now is kind of harmful. And I was an eco-club, so this is also why it's a concern. But then also, I just want to try to have this being eco-friendly.
That's a very very important question to ask. I'm glad you brought that up. So there is the Mylar balloon. It's traveling with the winds. We don't know where it's going to go or where it will land. We hope that it lands here on Earth where someone could recover it. But there is a chance. I mean, there's more ocean than there is land. There is a chance it does land in the ocean. If you could find, as a inventor, a creative way to run atmospheric experiments with a biodegradable balloon, I would be so excited to fly one of those. Because that means it would be, it would just break down in the natural kind of chemistry of things. But anything that's biodegradable like that won't last very long, so we can't get those long flights. It's a fairly small balloon, but still, I guess if we think about it, we have to clean up after ourselves, right? Underneath those solar panels, there is some information for anyone to contact us. So if it does land in the desert somewhere or in a mountain, and someone comes across it, they can contact us and we can get it back, which means we could fly it again, which would be pretty cool. Our really big balloons, we fly on latex balloons, just like your balloon you might get at a party store, what have you. They get really, really big, 3-4 meters in diameter. We fill them up with a whole bunch more helium. They go up a lot higher, but they don't go nearly as far. But what I like about those, two things I like about those balloons. First of all, it involves getting in and doing some engineering. What do you want to put in your payload? Right now, you didn't really have a chance to do much engineering with this. You're learning about the radio, and you're learning about solar power, and you're learning about other things like GPS, but you're not constructing anything. With our larger balloons, you actually get to design and construct things. We have some students that put like plants or seeds in there because they want to know what happens if we send seeds past the ozone layer, because those big balloons go up about 100,000 feet, 3 times higher than a commercial airliner. And then Tony, I don't know if you want to pull up a quick little video showing one of our balloon launches, maybe the one with Vertibi School of Engineering. This was another girls program there in USC, so it was in your backyard. But that was with a much bigger balloon. Janelle helped us along with that, as well as another teacher, Christine Hurst. She works at a high school and she does balloon launches all the time. She's really pretty good at it. But these balloons go up, and when they burst, we can get them back. And so we don't worry about what kind of impact we have because we can recover them. But I'm so glad you brought that question up, because I have a little bit of guilt when we launch these because I'm unsure where it might land. And so if we can find a way where we can get these long distance balloons going and not worry about that, I would absolutely adore a solution. So think about that. Simran, Karina, your friends. I think I saw Ura's here. You guys could figure out a way to do that. I'd love to try. So here, watch this video. Do you guys have any questions about like that big balloon versus your Mylar balloon, which is going to go much farther? Your balloon's going to go for days. Again, ours, that big one stays aloft for maybe 3 or 4 hours.
So I have a question. So the balloon's going to travel, and what has happened with many of the balloons? What has happened with them? Where have they ended up?
That's a great question. So we launched them from different locations. Quite often we're launching them from Northern California. We had one balloon that went down, well, the one we launched last week went down into Mexico. And if we look at the ground stations in Mexico, there aren't many. So I think there were some near Monterey, the state of Monterey. And I think there was one right at the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. And our model looked like it was going to fly down in that direction, but we haven't heard anything of it since then. And our model, if we go rewind all the way back to the last time we heard from the balloon, if the model is correct, it's currently halfway over the Atlantic somewhere. Now, we've had the longest distance flight from California. Our last blip we received from that was off the coast of Africa. There's a little island chain called the Azores, and that was a blip we got from the radio station that was there, and it was flying right over Africa. So it's probably in the desert somewhere, and some sand dunes, and some guy on a camel is going to find it and is going to go, "What's this?" Right? We had another one we launched from Kentucky, so that's on the East Coast. And that one, we saw it going up towards Nova Scotia near Canada, and it went over the North Atlantic, and it disappeared for a couple days because, again, there's no radio towers in the middle of the Atlantic. And then it woke up coming down near Britain on the way to France, and it came down through Spain, and then we lost it again because it went down into North Africa. And we're like, oh man, we lost another one in the desert. And then like 2 days later, it woke up again, it showed up, and it was going in a different direction. It was heading into Greece. It's like, wow, okay, it's back again. And it flew for the next day and a half. I think we watched it and we lost it in Bulgaria on the way to St. Petersburg, Russia. Now, if it kept on going, the map said it was going to go around Mongolia and come down through China and then back out through Japan. These balloons are unlikely the Mylar balloon will go as far as around the world. I mean, it possibly could, but usually they don't last that long. But so far, we haven't seen any indication that they've landed in the ocean per se. Now, the balloon, I just got them yesterday. These super pressure balloons, we're going to launch in about a month. They go up higher than the one we're going to launch today, but lower than those big ones you just saw. They'll go up to around 45 or 50,000 feet or so, and they will go around the world if we pick the right weather, if we got the right day, the wind pattern looks good. That Earth.null school, that great visualization you guys showed us earlier with the wind patterns, if those wind patterns are just right, we can go all the way around the Earth, which would be really neat.
How come you haven't used those ones before? Have they barely been like available? Or are you testing out different types of balloons?
So these balloons are normally done by researchers in, like, if you're a graduate in university, you're studying the atmospheric investigations. At major airports, every morning, they usually put aloft a high altitude balloon, and the instrument they put on it, they give it a name. It's called a radiosonde. And it's very similar to what we have in classrooms. We use something called a CanSat, which is a simulated satellite. So in the volume of, imagine this is like a soda can. It's a little different, doesn't really look like a soda can, but it's the same diameter. I've got half of it here. Yeah, here's one, here's the full one. So, here'd be like a soda can equivalent, 122 millimeters in length and 65 millimeter diameter. But inside is a bunch of electronics. And so our different balloons, we run different instruments, and that radiosonde that launches from the airport measures things like a temperature. We have a temperature sensor and a humidity sensor on this. It measures things like barometric pressure. And of course, we know that pressure gets lighter the higher we go in the atmosphere. We can actually calculate altitude just from the pressure sensor. Here's a super big GPS block, and it's about maybe 8 times larger than the GPS block that's on the balloon that Liam's about to launch, which is kind of neat. And it looks like Liam's in the parking lot right now. And it has other sensors on it as well. And in addition to that, a real-time clock and a data card. And it's running on an Arduino. I think you guys have done some programming before, code.org or what have you. So this is the Arduino microcontroller. It's called an Uno, and they're really inexpensive. They're like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. And you can program it. You program this little chip. It's called an Atmel chip with a set of instructions. You tell it to turn a light on or turn a light off, or if the temperature gets too high, turn a fan on. In this case, we're just saying, would you record a bunch of instruments, a bunch of sensors for us so we can measure the world around us? So this electronics is kind of like the human body. We got eyes, we can hear, we got ears, we can With the eyes we can see, ears we can hear, we can smell and taste and touch. And this is doing some electronic versions of that for us here. So if you're interested in those sciences, we can do it. We launch rockets sometimes too. But I really like and I appreciate your concern about pollution. And I think that is a great path of discovery. Can we find a biodegradable balloon that we can do research on? That would be fascinating to maybe try some different things. I know in like ancient cultures, like in China and Japan, they might just do heat and they run their lamps, right? And so they build a lantern, and just the heat of the candle will lift the little paper lantern up. It's a fire hazard. You got to be careful about that. But the idea is that you can watch those going up at night, and they look like these little stars as they go up. And that's, if you look some history, just by using hot air expands, and so it rises. It's not as efficient as helium or hydrogen gas, but that is biodegradable, especially if it's a paper lantern, right? But you got to worry about the fire. All right, hey, so I'm going to turn it back over to Liam. I guess you might be on mute. Liam, what's it like out there?
So I can feel the wind appears to be going, yeah, towards those trees.
I know.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think I should try and find somewhere else?
Well, it's hard for me to judge from there if I don't see a windsock or anything else that gives me wind indication.
Yeah, it's very low wind.
Okay, well that's great. No wind would be ideal,
but it is, well, this is its own windsock, right? Can you see the balloon?
Uh-huh. Well, there you go.
So what? So you being the expert balloon launcher, what do you think?
You're gonna put it on me, huh? Let's take a vote here of our young engineers and scientists. Do you think we should try a different location? Different that would change our time, which isn't a big deal, or do we think this might be worthwhile? We've got, I guess I'm going to try to count parking lot spaces there. You've got about 10 car lengths, or what, 6 car lengths before you get to that tree I'm seeing?
A little bit more than that. Yeah, it's a little bit further away than that.
Yeah, I think
your balloon usually rise.
That's a great question. And you know, I didn't calculate the lift in terms of lift per second, feet or meters per second. As you recall in your living room, Liam, it wasn't lifting up very quickly, right?
No, because I don't think it's supposed to, right?
Right. And so you've got in this little trigonometry here, you've got the angle of lift and you've got the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now your angle of lift, you're going to have an acute angle there. It's not going to be like 45 degrees or 90 degrees because you've got some wind. Very high wind, it's going to be very low angle, which means you have a chance of running into those trees. So literally we'd have to do some math calculations.
It looks like it's heading over this way.
Okay.
So the wind is taking us away from the nearest largest trees.
Uh-huh.
And we can get further back.
Okay. Yeah, the further back you can get, I'd recommend.
So it gives you more time to lift, and then after, it just gives a better balance for everything.
Other things we could do if we were concerned about that would obviously change the location or change the time, or even change the device itself, adding more helium, which means you may not get a long flight, or lightening your payload, which means
now the wind has died down. This is good.
Yeah, and it looks like you've got no wind. How about a countdown, guys?
Do you want a countdown?
Yeah. All right. Yep. Let's do it. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Go! That's,
there it goes.
There it goes. That looks to me, it's going to be clear of the trees.
Yes. I saw that it's going to look like no wind. I said, let's not wait. Let's just do it. And you're about 90 seconds over our midday launch. So I'd say that's a really good timing, despite being set back from the security folks. And we're aloft. Now, our calculations would be slightly different, right? But I wouldn't worry too much about that difference. And Liam, just out of our confidence, can you grab us a lat and long right there? Our gals might want to do a calculation anyway.
Yeah, I can't do it because I'm here, but anyone can just do. I mean, I can definitely let you know precisely where it is, but it's going to be within the margin of error.
But sometime here midday, you just send a note out with the lat and long.
Yeah.
Time, it looks like we launched around 12:02. That's our time of launch. And I'm not sure of the altitude there at the Arboretum, but if you want to be really accurate, then that's the launch altitude.
Yeah, I don't think that goes into the model though, right? Does it?
Just out of curiosity.
Karina, yes.
You had a question?
Oh, so there's just something wrong with the audio for a second.
Oh, okay.
All right, and also I want
location. Can I have the exact coordinates? I wanna know the coordinates. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm very
I can give you an estimate.
Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't hearing.
I'm going to share my screen. And Karina, I'll show you what I think, and it's going to be an estimate. But based on where I'm looking at their geography, the trees around them and whatnot, you see my screen right there? I think this is the big tree that we saw in the picture. And there's that palm tree, right, with the shadow. I think Anna and Liam were back here when they launched, right? So that's just a guess, but your latitude and longitude would be, your latitude is 34.1422, okay? And north. And your longitude will be 118.0521 west. 34.1422 north, and then 118.0521 west. Plot that in. You can put your launch time at, just go ahead and make it noon. I think they don't give you minutes there on your calculator.
Same location. Let me just check the previous ones where we had it. I have it written down.
Okay.
Previous ones was 34.1372, and I believe that was the north one possibly, and that's the one on 8.0521 was the other one. So it's in the same numbers of the whole numbers.
That's interesting. So the latitude seems like it was the same. So as we go from west to east around the Earth, you were in the same latitude, but your longitude was a little different, right? So it was a little further north than where we originally were planning to launch. So not a lot of difference. Clearly, it's probably maybe a quarter mile or half mile here on Earth, but Earth is pretty big, so not that much of a difference. Can you still see it, Liam?
Yeah, it's pretty high up right now. Is anyone checking APRS?
I'm going to log in right now. I was just checking for the
presentation.
It's still showing it at your home.
Yeah, so it hasn't picked it up yet then. So, and I am seeing if I'm picking it up on my own unit here, my ham radio that's on here.
And can you shout out your call sign again for me?
KN6EQU-1.
Cool. Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll
there's a lot of traffic on the local APRS here, so
it might take a few minutes. Fantastic.
KN6, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay, it just popped in.
CQU, yeah, on my local, and it currently says
it's showing it on APRS now.
Yeah, there you go. So I got that on my local APRS on my ham radio here. So that's I'm actually receiving that direct from the unit that's above there. It says it's 0.13 miles away from where I am standing, but obviously most of that is up. And I
there you go.
Still see it. I cannot see it. Yeah.
Will it like show all the movement recorded where it'll go, right?
It will. If we wait about 5 minutes, it's going to give us another update.
Okay.
right?
Yeah, the wind's really picked up down here now.
Yeah.
We got lucky.
Yeah.
We got lucky.
But there we go.
All right, so follow along. You've got the website and the address, aprs.fi, and Liam's ham radio call sign is KN6EQ1
EQU.
EQU, I'm sorry, EQU-1, KN6EQU-1. And it's on its way. So we're at a little past the top of the hour. And so we're going to wrap our show up here. Always kind of fun and exciting. We're going to do another one next week back in Northern California. Our students from Lodi Unified School District will join us. And young ladies, track this balloon. I'm looking forward to following it today and tomorrow and hopefully over the next week. And get ready. We'd like to follow up with you guys on Monday, I believe. We're going to find out what this thing has done. And we'll talk a little bit about our high pressure balloon and this idea that we want to circumnavigate the Earth within the next 30 or 40 days. So get ready for that. That's pretty exciting. Thank you for being guests and sharing all your information. Hopefully some folks have learned something new or they're excited to learn, go and explore a little further. And don't hold your questions up. Simran, thank you for your leadership. Any of you gals have questions, bring them through your leader. They'll reach out through Jomi, Cynthia, or Janelle, and we'll make sure we get some answers for you on Monday. We may not have an answer. We might have some more questions, but it's always fun to have that great conversation.
Yes.
Liam, thank you for your leadership there and getting this thing aloft. Anna, thank her. Again, those extra circumstances made us all worthwhile. And for now, here at Magnitude in Berkeley, California, we're going to call it a day. Thank you for joining Magnitude Live episode 10 as we make these things up. If you have an idea you'd like to share, maybe a legume recipe, want to come join us in space on our next experiment with Exolab 8 in February of 2021, go to magnitude.io, check out the Leguma Nut Challenge. There's no cost to get in the early phase 1 trials in which we need to find the right plant to send to space. We need your help. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. And we're going to catch up with you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Later. Always fun.
All right. Very cool. But I might just do a local shout out on the local ham radio next year, just to let people know. So let me just switch over to my. All right. Let's just see.
Signing off.